an SLE, and an SLT. On the SLE, there'll be an option for the all-terrain package, which is kind of like the Z71 package offered for the Colorado. More aggressive tires, better shocks, better skid plating. It's kind of the outdoor lifestyle vehicle. Powertrains, 3 different powertrains for this vehicle, a 2.5 liter gas, 3.6 liter gas engine, and in 2016, the 2.8 light duty Duramax diesel. Big changes on the interior. Unique gauge cluster, looks fairly similar to the Camaro. Brand new center stack, looks a little bit similar to the half-ton Sierra. Big fat steering wheel, very cool shifter, and also the new all-terrain package that's on top of the SLE has a new auto-track 4-wheel drive system that offers 4 low and full-time all-wheel drive. Some of our favorite features about this new Canyon are standard, not the least of which is the easy drop and lift tailgate, the corner bed step, and all sorts of adjustable tie downs inside the pickup bed. But if you want all the details about this new truck, go to pickuptrucks.com.
Luxury cars also made a splash this auto show season. We take a look at a couple. First of all, a mainstream brand, Mercedes, has the redesigned C-Class. That's their small sedan. And finally, Kia, you heard that right, Kia is also getting into the luxury game with the all-new K900. Let's start off with that C-Class. The C-Class has traditionally stood as the entryway into Mercedes, but there's a new car for that called the CLA, which is actually bigger than the outgoing C-Class. Not to worry, the redesign here about 4 inches longer, but thanks to extensive aluminum, about 220 pounds lighter than the outgoing C-Class. It looks the part of kind of a junior S-Class, which is what the C-Class has always kind of tried to do, especially in the rear here. The taillights really emulate Mercedes' flagship sedan. Overall, a pretty good look, pretty well proportioned front to rear, I think. Mercedes calls the interior quote-unquote high class, and I gotta say it does a pretty good job of that. Materials, very nice in this new C-Class, consistent materials all the way down to foot level here. There's a center screen here that perches on kind of a tablet-like surface. It works pretty well. Mercedes has been doing that for a few years now. There's a new touchpad here that perches kind of atop Mercedes' familiar command interface. You can do things like pinch in and out to zoom in and out on the map. You can swipe sub-menus here. Pretty intuitive there, although this screen is close enough that it could just be an ordinary touchscreen too, and we wonder why Mercedes doesn't integrate that functionality in as well. Now, the automaker says that the additional wheelbase in the new C-Class does great things for backseat legroom. We're going to check that out. I want to talk about front seat room a little bit here first, though, because the last C-Class was kind of cramped, especially in terms of headroom. It's okay, actually. I'm about 6 feet tall, and I have enough room here to sit with the seat all the way up, and the seat goes back far enough here so that people who are 6'2", 6'3" should have enough room to drive. Let's check out that back seat. Back seat has pretty good headroom, actually, given that this car that we're in at the auto show has a panoramic moonroof, which often cuts a little bit of headroom for the front and rear seats. Legroom is okay. The biggest complaint here is that the seat continues to sit pretty low to the ground, which means that adults' knees will be kind of up here dangling in the air. Typical for this class, but wish Mercedes had improved a little bit on that. Kind of a cool feature in the trunk here. There's this shelf here that you pull out, and you can store some things in here, but if you really want to go nuts with it, you push it down and you can actually put groceries and things in there. It contains them, keeps them from moving around while you're driving. And then there's this button here, snaps the bag back up, which means you could like launch things at people from there. Gasoline powertrains for the C-Class will include a 235 horsepower turbo 4-cylinder in the C300, as well as a 329 horsepower turbo V6 in the C400. Now, Mercedes' 4MATIC all-wheel drive system will be offered first when the car launches this fall in 2014. There will be rear-wheel drive versions offered after that. Stay tuned for all that and more closer to the car's on-sale date. The new Kia K900, a rear-drive premium sedan that could elevate Kia's luxury status like the Equus and Genesis did for parent brand Hyundai, except those cars had names you could kind of remember. The K900, not so much. Let's see if it leaves an indelible mark in our memories when we check it out. If the nose looks familiar on the K900, it's because Kia already sort of has this look going in the Cadenza, another large sedan that's front-wheel drive that it sells. Of course, that car has a smaller V6 and a different driveline. The K900 will have a 311 horsepower V6 or a 420 horsepower V8. Both team with an 8-speed automatic transmission. That's the most advanced transmission and the most horsepower from any Kia right now on the road in the US. Wheelbase, the distance between the front and the rear wheels, about 120 inches on the K900. Now that's about 8 inches more than it is on the Cadenza sedan. 19-inch wheels here, standard on the K900. Kia's chief designer, a guy by the name of Peter Schreier, came over from Audi, and you can see some of the influences here in the way the K900 ends, kind of slopes gently into a very tidy tail. I gotta say, good looking car. V8 models get adaptive LED headlights. The tailpipes back here, they kind of sit within the bumper. That's something we see in a lot of newer cars these days. Kia says they mimic the shape of the taillights, not the overall shape, but the shape within the taillights here. You can kind of see some of the resemblance. A mid or upper tier luxury car demands attention to details, and the details do look very promising. Things like stitching along the center dashboard tunnel here below the center stack of controls, premium materials all the way up and down the dash, even stitching across the center part of the steering wheel here. Heated and ventilated seats are standard. So is a navigation system that's controlled by a knob-based controller here with a few buttons around it, similar to the knob controllers in the Hyundai Genesis, the Hyundai Equus. There's an available 12.3-inch center display here that replaces traditional analog gauges. There's also an available Lexicon stereo. Let's take a look at the back seat. Back seat has plenty of legroom here. That's where I'd sit to drive, and I'm 6 feet tall. Good high seating position here, as well as good headroom. Not a combination you always find even in certain large sedans. Standard features for people back here include rear side sunshades here, a power rear sunshade, heated rear seats. The K900 offers a VIP package. That gets you through security faster. It also gets you on the plane faster than Group 1. Not really. Actually, it does get you power rear seats. It also gets you cooled rear seats and back. Definitely some extra toys if you want to entertain those passengers you bring along. A lot of mechanical similarities exist between the K900 and the Hyundai Genesis, but there are a few more upscale toys here in the Kia, and that's something Kia has done many times over with corporate cars that are similar, cars from the Forte all the way up through the Optima. Stay tuned for more once the car goes on sale in early 2014. Thanks for joining us. We had more than 50 videos and tons of auto show content from which we just picked our 10 favorite videos. So if you want to see more, be sure to check out cars.com. See you next time.